In this video, I'm going to look at Spondylus shells and also some Chamidae shells. Not that they're related families, apart from being spiny bivalves, but I haven't got many Chamidae, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to also show those. So on the left there are Spondylus from the Northern Territory, and on the right specimens of Chamidae. Alright, so that's just a quick look at all of the shells, and let's have a look at some individual ones now. A beautiful Spondylus imperialis. I've always found that very appealing. A couple of specimens from India, a couple of pure white specimens from Philippines, and a beautiful pink specimen there. Most of these Spondylus are from the Indo-Pacific, in particular the Philippines and Australia, probably dominates. But there are some shells from the Americas, such as Mexico and Brazil, that we'll have a look at as well. So those ones I just scanned then are all from Philippines. Here's a beautiful one from Indonesia. So multi-muricatus. I think we'll see how it gets its name in terms of those magnificent spines. A few more from the Philippines, Barbatus, Echinatus, which are both species that occur right across the Indo-Pacific. Here are some Australian, Western Australia, Queensland shells. Here we've got a beautiful specimen from Japan, Occidens, very fine spines there, beautiful shell. Lovely colours in many of the Philippine shells. There's a interesting Spondylus from Queensland. Variants from the Philippines. Here we have Ictericus from Brazil. There's 3 specimens there, that one. Beautiful colours and beautiful spines and colours. So 3 very different looking shells. That's one difficult thing about Spondylus. They're very hard to identify. Well, I find it very difficult to identify them because there's so much variation even within the same species. And I mean, some species stand out, like sinensis. I never have trouble identifying that, or varians, because of that very large red spot there. But there are some species that are so varied that I really find it difficult to identify. There's another one from Brazil, Gilvis. Americanus, which comes from the Americas. There's a specimen there. Another specimen there. I'm not sure exactly where that is from. No other details apart from the name. And I think this is also Americanus. Right, lovely one from Greece there. Look at the name there. Gadaropus. Or should say, yeah, Gadaropus from Greece. A lovely cluster of Barbatus Spondylus shells. There are 6 of them together. And Regius, that's an interesting one. Very heavy shell. And probably my largest one in terms of length when you go to the end, at the very end of the spines. It's got very fine spines, and in fact, I find it quite difficult to pick up. It's almost a shell you have to put gloves on with, because it's on a number of occasions that shell's actually drawn blood with the spines driving their way into my fingers. So it's because of how heavy the shell is that makes it difficult to handle. Anyway, I'll make sure I put that away very carefully. All right, so a little one here from Singapore. Lovely little one there from Philippines. And Princeps, I wanted to mention that from Mexico. There's a couple of specimens there. Lovely shell. And I also have to give special mention to Licuophilus. Beautiful shells, those spines, so many, so fine. And also Gloriosus, another beautiful one. All right, I think I've covered most of those there. Now for my local shells, some interesting ones there. And most of them collected by being washed up in storms. When we get our cyclones up here, they can cause quite a bit of a havoc on the coral reefs. And as a result, not uncommon to find many Spondylus shells that have been detached from the coral reefs in the area. And then the last group I want to look at is Chamidae. Now all the ones in this section are from Australia, and with one or two exceptions from the Philippines. In fact, the two brightest ones there, the yellow and the orange, are from the Philippines, whereas the others are from Australia. That's our very typical Lazarus shell, and a number of local ones. These are all local, and that is also local. And then in this next drawer, the famous jewel pox shells from the Americas, from Florida, and then some other ones from other parts of the Americas, California, Texas. Another one there, and also there from Florida. And the two up there at the top are from Malaysia. All right, so I hope you enjoyed what is my fourth video on the bivalves. And yes, so I hope you enjoyed looking at Spondylus and Chamidae. Thank you.